our first episode of Plug and Play. Today we'll be interviewing B Star.
What's up, guys?
So, tell us a little bit about yourself so we start this interview off. Like, who are you?
Well, I'm a upcoming producer, born in Atlanta, Georgia, mainly raised in Houston. Now I'm here in Dallas.
Type. So, like, when did you come to Texas? Like, were you like a little kid, or were you like in high school or something?
So I would probably say it was middle of third grade. From Atlanta, moved middle of the year. So when I moved to Houston, they kind of held me back.
Black people.
Man.
We'll keep it going.
So like I was saying,
can y'all chill? All right, then you're making it okay. Anyways, let's hear. So what got you into producing? Like, what made you? When did you want to become start making music and stuff?
Producing. I mean, that's real comp because starting music, it was around, I would say around middle school to 8th grade from now. But making music in general was all my life. Since I was maybe daycare, music class.
He was in daycare and he was just like
playing
hitting
drums.
stuff. He was like, "Yeah, I could do this. This is my passion. This is my goal in life."
Yeah, basically.
Type. I had a couple questions lined up. I was going to ask you, but unfortunately, we're having a little technical difficulties.
Low power.
So I'm just gonna shoot about 20 questions that you called today. Is it good with you?
Sure.
All right, bet. So I already asked you, what made you want to come for? What made you want to get interested in music? When did you start? Where you from? You said you're from Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
So who would you say in Atlanta right now is like your biggest inspiration, or growing up was your biggest inspiration in music?
In Atlanta, born listening to Michael Jackson. Then it went from, Atlanta artists like T.I., then upcoming like Cardi, Kanye, went to Houston, Travis, Don Toliver. So every location I went to, my style expanded.
All right. Anyways, so anybody from Houston that inspires you now?
Houston,
like any Houston artists that inspire you?
Like mainstream, I would say Travis Scott, and the way I would say Travis Scott production and Don Toliver's work ethic. Yeah, work ethic. Mainly just on how I was studying him, on how he began to blow up and network with DJs and clubs, eventually hitting up Travis Scott's friend, eventually hitting up Travis Scott. So it's mainly on studying the upcoming greats to be greater.
Like, a little studying the OGs.
Yeah.
Type.
But staying original.
That's what we like to hear. Another question. If you had to pick, what's your top 4 producers out right now?
Besides me?
Of course, besides
I would
you.
say definitely Metro Boomin. Gotta put him up there. I would say 808 Mafia. I feel like he's been under the credits a lot. Let's see. Could definitely say I still look up to Quincy Jones' studies. And shit.
You can keep going, bro. My fault.
Anyways, like I said, okay, we're gonna sum it up. Metro Boomin, Pharrell Williams, Rick Rubin. I would say still Kanye, and I would think of either 808 Mafia or myself.
Type. Was that in like tier list from your opinion greatest to lowest, or was it just
It's
random five?
I'd say I look up to the top three the most.
Top three.
Yeah.
All right. So I heard you drop the EP a couple months ago.
I did.
How's all that going?
R&B EP collab with Sincerely Danielle. It was a lot of work. A lot of it took a year under just to make the album / EP. It has 7 songs. We dropped one of them. I'm fucked up, or I a few, before the EP, so everyone else can listen to it. But yeah, the EP overall, it develops her phase with an emotional breakup and her relationship back in the day, and it really I just helped her put it into music. And I brought in the production, she brought in the lyrics, and throughout the whole season of summer and spring, we was just in it.
So in your opinion, what's one of your favorite songs on that EP? You know you said 7 songs.
Favorite song.
Like, which one you would be like, nah, this is my baby right here. Like this.
Man, there's some old beats that we use that I produced 2 years ago. So it's like those are like a favorite because of my OG beats that I used to make versus now. But then there are also ones that we both just came together on a project and it was like, oh yeah, this is the one. So I would probably say like Love in Vain. That one was really popularized in the studio. I would say Chill was a more complex song to work on because we had many versions of it. So it was like, it was mainly on which version was better at the end of the day and which one fit better with the EP.
Okay. So I noticed you said it's some old beats and some new beats. Yeah. So how do you feel your style of making music and making beats have changed over the years? Like, if you compare like your younger beats to a person and your newer beats to a person, who would it be? Like, how would that work?
Let's see. Younger beats, it was mainly off of just loops and BandLab and mainly just learning the basics. Like, so back in the day, you're probably gonna hear the same 1, 2, 3, 4, or same hi-hats or the same kick. But now I've learned to switch out drums and switch out hi-hats and switch out sounds to make better chord progressions, better melodies, more of a different sound that I can do personally more than everyone else's style.
Tight. Another thing, I want to ask you, how you feel about producers nowadays relying on samples a little too much? How you feel about producers nowadays relying on samples a little too much? Like half the song is a rip off of a completely different song.
It's real. It really depends on how people use the sample, because yeah, we got old gems that we want to bring nostalgic back with the new sounds, but then you don't want to just make a basic sample song and just put it at 2 pitches or lower it 2 pitches and then speed it up and then put some drums on it and then boom, that's a song. Like, there's no feel to that song.
There's no art behind it. No passion. What you're trying to say?
Not no passion, but there's no meaning. Like, if you add a sample plus your own sound with your own production, then yeah, that's a meaningful song. But if you're just using an old song from an old legend that everyone's already heard of, and then you just put the basics 808, then people not gonna take it as much as how you could have made it when it was a meaningful sample. If that makes sense.
Well, that's pretty much all the questions I wanted to ask you. But I got one last question, one last thing. Is there any projects you're working on right now that you want to, give a little shout out to coming up in the works, or is that a little too hush hush?
2025 is gonna have a lot of music that a lot of y'all are not gonna think that I've been making. And I'm bringing a lot of upcoming artists, a lot of new people, a lot of old faces. So just stick tuned on Instagram, stick tuned on my website, stick tuned to the label, and I'll let y'all know when we ready.
All right, then. I should be pretty much up. Pretty much for this episode. You want to plug your social medias and stuff where we can find you at?
Instagram is Brendan Starr W. YouTube is Brendan Starr Official. Music on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it. And yeah, just stay tuned. And if you can't find me, look me up on Google.
All right, then. We start. Well, it's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.